Hey, hi everyone. Good morning.
Good morning, Ashish. Good morning.
Hello everyone. How are
Hey, hi
you?
everyone.
Yeah, yes, yes. Hi everybody. So we'll just give everybody a couple of minutes to join, and then we should be good to start.
Sure.
I can see people are still joining in, so maybe another couple of minutes, and then we can start at 11:35.
Sure.
All right. I suppose we're good to get started. Once again, a very good morning, good afternoon, everybody, on behalf of IFI Tech Solutions and Microsoft. Uh, I hope everybody's doing fine. We're here for today for a webinar on intelligent analytics with Microsoft Fabric. This event is co-hosted by IFI Tech Solutions and Microsoft. So today we're going to talking about Fabric, and then we've got a live demo lined up for intelligent analytics and Copilot. We'll be discussing it further in details as we progress. So just a quick introduction about the speakers for today's event. Myself, Abhinav Sharma. I'm the Director of Business Development here at IFI Tech Solutions. Joining us today from Microsoft India is Mr. Ashish Sahu, who is the Cloud Solution Architect here at Microsoft India. He'll be assisting us and providing us insights into Fabric. Then we've got Dr. Kamalkant Jain, who is the Head of Data and AI for IFI Tech Solutions. And then last but not the least, we've got Mr. Anil Kumar, who's the lead consultant for data and AI here at IFI Tech Solutions. Just a brief overview of what we have lined up for today, a quick agenda. So an introduction to IFI Tech Solution. We're going to be talking about who we are, what we do. Then we've got an introduction to Microsoft Fabric, which will be held by Dr. Jen and Mr. Ashish Saud. Then we've got a live demo into intelligent analytics with Microsoft Fabric, which will be delivered by Dr. Jen and Mr. Anil. And then also for any Q&As, we've got the chat which is open. So during the session or even once the demo is done, if you have any questions, you can simply put it in the chat and we'll try our best to address those for you. So with that being said, just quickly talking about IFI Tech Solutions. So we are one of the leading cloud solution and managed services provider. We are an Azure expert MSP with multiple advanced specializations in infra and database. We also are a managed partner based out of India. We've been in the business for over a decade. The company was founded by two of the ex-Microsoft executives. We have been available globally with 450 plus customers. We offer services across CSPs, system integration, staff orgs, managed services, and assessments. So we are there from the pre-stage to the post-stage. So anything in terms of pre-sales to post-sales, IFI Tech Solutions is a one-stop shop for any of those solutions. In terms of our presence, we are a global company scattered across various geographies, be it US, Canada, UK, Australia. We have listed entities and registered. So we've got our teams scattered across the globe with the right representatives available in different regions. All right. With that being said, I'd like to now pass on the mic to Dr. KK Jain. He's our principal consultant for data and AI. He's going to be talking about my intelligent analytics with Microsoft Fabric and giving us an overview of what Fabric is and how we can, dive further into these Fabric solutions for your business. Over to you, Dr. Jain. Thank you.
Hi, Abhinav. Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Abhinav, for this brief introduction. So today we are here in this event to talk about intelligent analytics with Microsoft Fabric. Without much ado, I'll keep it brief, but I'll try to convey that how Fabric provides us intelligent tools for end-to-end analytics. Before we understand about Fabric, let us first talk about what typical end-to-end analytics journey looks like. So typical scenario for end-to-end analytics. What happens in general is that data is generated at source, sometimes in structured form, sometimes in unstructured form. The data generated then goes through ETL processes, and for that, data is first ingested in a general scenario using pipelines or data flows. Then that data is transformed for storage. That transformation can be done using different languages, platforms, or tools. And the process data is then stored into lakehouses or in warehouses, depending on the data type and end use of that data. Typically, data stored in a warehouse is used for end uses for, say, model development in data science. So SQL endpoint of the data is typically used, or it is consumed in form of BI reports for which tools such as Power BI can be or are regularly used. Now, what you would see here, would observe, is that these lot of processes that happen across the data journey require different tools, different teams, and leads to creation of silos in the data state of an organization. That's a challenge, that's a problem that Microsoft Fabric addresses by design. Before I come to the brief about Microsoft Fabric's capabilities, what's important to understand again for us is that, it would always be it's a I would say operational problem that, okay, this guy was doing the data processing, this team has stored the data in that place. Building all those connections bringing things for end user consumption is sometimes not a very coherent process. What Fabric does provides all these workloads or what it terms as experiences on a single platform. That platform, Microsoft Fabric, is a offering from Microsoft, a SaaS offering, if I may say. It's a software as a service where you can perform all the aspects of data journey, data's analytics journey, right from data ingestion to report generation. Okay. So what these workloads are called and are defined as in Fabric are data factory for data ingestion. You can use notebooks, you can use data pipelines, you can use GenFlow for ingesting the data. You can perform data engineering also within the Fabric itself, on the platform itself. Then you can create warehouses, store your data, store data in tabular forms. In Fabric platform itself, you can build data science models for predictions, trend identifications, any ML data science models, again on the same platform. And then you can use the data that you have prepared, processed, transformed, in case of data science, trained and models created. For visualizations, reporting, you can use Power BI again on the same platform itself. How it all works, the foundation that Fabric is based on, right? It is called OneLake. So OneLake, I'll brief about OneLake in a while, but in simple words, OneLake is a data foundation for Fabric. What Fabric also comes with is different copilots across these different workloads. So what are copilots? Copilots are generative AI enabled experiences that allow us to perform actions across data's journey using using natural language prompts. So if I were to require to write a SQL query to get some data insights, I can do that in data warehouse experience with a simple natural language query. If I was to create a visual in Power BI, instead of setting up that visual and doing everything using the established processes, I can simply use a natural language prompt to ask Power BI to create that visual for me. So it has inbuilt AI within the tool, within the product itself, in the Microsoft Fabric. In addition, Fabric also provides inbuilt data governance and compliance tools in form of Purview. So what now I'm going to talk about is OneLake. Okay. So many of us are already accustomed to using OneDrive. Okay. What we do in OneDrive is we store all kinds of our Microsoft 365 data. In other words, we store our Word files, we store our Excel files, PowerPoints, notepads, videos, audios, different kind of data we store in OneDrive for documentation purposes. Similarly, OneLake, that is the foundation, data foundation of the Fabric, stores all data that for analytics in OneLake. In the data stored in OneLake is in Parquet format typically. As you can see that it's a single software as a service lake for the whole organization. So the deployment is tenant wide. Okay, you deploy in a tenant, and then for different workspaces there are different folders. Okay, as it highlights that data is organized in an intuitive hierarchical namespace. It's easy to accordingly, it is easy to discover the data. You can apply automatically gets applied with MIP labels, linears, PII scans, etc. It's inbuilt in the data. It's inbuilt in the OneLake. More on this, is that see all data when using Fabric. So there is saying all roads lead to Rome. Similarly, in case of Fabric, all data leads to OneLake. What I mean by that, okay. is, as you can see on the screen, that there are different workloads are shown on the top, workloads or experiences. So data from different clouds or data consumed using mirroring. Again, that's a terminology that allows real-time replication of data from external sources or different clouds is all stored in one lake in open source Delta Parquet format and can be accessed once in the fabric, then can be accessed by different through APIs by different services tools. For example, could be used by Azure Databricks, SDI, or AI Studio, or any other. There are many more APIs that can be used for using this one data. So what we try to say, or what we have trying to convey here, is that Fabric's data foundation is one lake. Every data, all data gets stored in a single one lake in a hierarchical folder namespace where it is easy to retrieve, easy to access, and in a consistent format, okay, which can be used across. Similar to the storage, like I said, for data, there is one compute for all the workloads that we mentioned. Okay, so Fabric is storage plus compute. Now, why this compute is required? For different data workloads during the analytics journey of the data. I had mentioned that data gets ingested, data gets transformed, data science models can be created, data has to be stored, and data has to be available to be, or data needs to be converted to visuals, interactive insight for interactive insights. Okay. All this compute in case of Fabric is a combined compute. So you once you have deployed a certain Fabric capacity, you performing let's say data ingestion, transformation, and orchestration scenario, you data factory will need to use that compute. Suppose you have consumed now you want to create a data engineering experience. Okay, you want to create a lake house, the same compute will be used. Similarly, you want to complete full-scale data science workflows, create or harness the power of ML and AI for data enrichment, the same compute will be used. Accordingly, this compute is used for all the experiences, for creating the data warehouse, for creating Power BI reports, Power BI visualizations, even for the real-time analytics. If one is to require to perform real-time event-based applications, the same compute will be used. So Fabric is a storage plus compute. Storage we talked about, compute we just mentioned that all kinds of compute falls under one Fabric capacity. Okay. Now I talked about storage and compute. Okay. Now I very quickly I'll touch upon different copilots. Why copilots? I'll like to keep it brief as we will discuss the same during our demo part also. We will in that live demo we will explain the highlighted data warehouse and Power BI copilots, where data warehouse copilot will demonstrate using a AI skill. Power BI we will demonstrate using live copilot. But what is the importance of these copilots? Why we have titled this event as Intelligent Analytics with Microsoft Fabric? Okay, so for two reasons. One, you see, I am saying that your problems of data and different workloads being here, there, and everywhere in siloed manner is that pain, that problem, that challenge is done away with. Two, with increasing developments in generative AI space and even the users who are not prompt. Suppose I don't know how to write a SQL query efficiently. If I can ask my Copilot and generates the SQL query, my work gets done efficiently and in short frame of time. Okay, so keeping that in mind, I would we'll briefly talk about these Copilot experiences which are available across all the workloads that we have mentioned. but we'll focus on data warehouse in Power BI Copilots in our demo. And now the question comes, why everyone who is doing analytics at, let's say, even at basic level, okay, they already have invested in or are on some platforms, okay, or even the ones who have not started yet. The question is why build on or transition to Microsoft Fabric, right? A simple question. My understanding over a period of time and recommendation is for three simple reasons. That one, it's a SaaS platform, provides means and tools for end-to-end. It also provides unified experiences, as I've shown that on a single Fabric platform, you can perform from data ingestion to data visualization. And third, it comes with inbuilt AI capabilities, as I've shown you about Copilot, and that we'll demo later. And that there are inbuilt AI capabilities in the tool for which you do not have to, I would say, provision other resources. Also, the experience at our end has been that the onboarding to Fabric is relatively very easy. Okay. And it also provides flexible licensing options with the seamless scaling abilities. What I mean by that Fabric license comes with different capacity units starting from F2, it goes up to F2048. And depending on the organizational need, one can deploy either F2 or F2048 and can scale it up or scale it down as the requirement be on a click of a button. And now I would like to invite Ashish to shed more light on this, that how it further integrates with existing partner or customer workloads and brings together the siloed data and experience. So Ashish, I welcome you to the event. Thank you very much for bringing it all together for the audience, as well as to help us with this moving forward, why people should build or transition to Microsoft Fabric.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Dr. Jan, for that segue, actually talking about why we should be considering Fabric. And I would like to bring in a separate set of points here. Just let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Great. So I think we have talked about data analytics, and I would like to start by discussing this very important phrase that you see on your screen, right? So the AI is only as good as your data, and that rings true. We have also heard about this in a different manner as well earlier, which was that the data is the fuel for AI, and we understand that the entire industry, irrespective of whether they are a software organization or not, and taking a step back, right? All the organizations, all the companies, are actually becoming software companies, because we've realized, that unless we start utilizing the data to make smarter decisions about the business, the business is not going to differentiate itself. You will not see growth, right? So every organization is becoming a software organization, and that software organization is now looking at utilizing AI, as the next set of differentiators to bring new capabilities to transform the organization as well as the industry, right? And while we know that the impact of the AI transformation is going to be huge, you also have to realize that your data estate being ready is also very important. And Dr. Jan has already touched upon this. There are various challenges when it comes to the data estate, and specifically the unification of your data estate, right? You have siloed data, which are sometimes inaccessible. You'll have multiple copies of the data, and they are not also in sync. So it is difficult to find out a single source of truth. That would basically help you take the data and probably build an AI experience on top of it, right? And when I talk about AI experience, it not only means the GenAI kind of a capabilities, it also means even your classical ML development process will also suffer, because you wouldn't know if the data is reliable or if it is a single version of truth. Was there an update? Is it out of sync and things like that? Many things could happen when you don't know. When you don't have the control over the governance uh, and the data flows that you have in your organization, right? And that's where when you think about AI transformation, right? You have to basically walk yourself through these questions, right? Uh, what is the most important area in your organization that you want to focus on, right? And do you have the right workforce, right people with the right skills to help you do that? And then uh, you also have to think about that this AI skills or the AI capabilities that you're looking to develop, right? Are they where would you actually apply them, right? Is it going to be the areas that impact your customers most, or is it the areas where your partners, whether it will help your partners? We're talking about partners in general, industry agnostic term, right? So it could be your supply chain partners, it could be your retail partners, it could be your technical technology partners, any of those, right? So are you going to, where are you going to leverage that AI capability or the skills to make difference for yourself, right? And then do you already know which part of your operations are where the AI capabilities are actually needed most? But most important uh, question of all is that is your data in order for you to help take this data and start building those next set of differentiators? That's what I believe most of your energy should be spent before you start thinking about starting your journey towards the AI transformation. And then the last part is also important, right? I mean, if you have the right set of skills, if you have the right people with the right technology knowledge, that's when you can actually build that capability in-house. But if you don't, right, do you have the right partners in the picture to help you do that? And that's where we believe the Microsoft with IFI with the with Microsoft as the packet partner is the choice that you should be making in case you're not already doing that. Going ahead, Dr. Jain has already talked about this challenge. A typical enterprise scenario is fragmented. There are too many solutions that you probably will already find, and there are a plethora of solutions which are also there that make it very difficult for you to figure out which is the right solution, whether or not your existing technology choice is right, what you should be doing next, and is it going to make your next transformation difficult, because the set of choices you made pertaining to your technology platform and the tool chain, will it be ready for your future requirements? And that's where we heard this feedback from our customers actually, right? Which is basically that I am a chief data officer and I don't want to be the chief integration officer. And this is a real problem, and it is coming from one of our customers, Microsoft customers, that we work very closely. So they basically said, that a lot of their time is spent in figuring out how to integrate different solutions, different data sources, different analytical tools and things like that. So it becomes problematic, and what we call is the integration tax that comes into the picture, right? So before you could actually even figure out how to get started in your analytics and AI journey, you end up doing a lot of engineering and a lot of business process change just to ensure that you are actually ready to take the step which should have been your first step towards the transformation with AI and data. And just to summarize what we've been talking about, right? The typical analytics landscape today looks like you will have too many different products, which means that you will also have a different user experience pertaining to every aspect of the analytics journey steps you're talking about, right? Which means that you'll also have different management experiences. Some will be proprietary, some will be open. It will be a combination of PaaS and SaaS. And then you'll also have to take a call about whether you want to go with a dedicated kind of capacity or compute, or whether serverless works for you better, right? And with that you also get this set of challenges on the right hand side that you can see on the slide. You will need to develop deep expertise on all of these products, right? Which basically is mean that you'll have a lot of steep learning curves. You'll also have to deal with different licensing models, pricing models, and when you have multiple products from multiple companies coming into the picture, that also brings in the security considerations as well as the data governance issues. That will pop up, because these tools are developed, by different companies, different people with different methodology and ideologies, trying to solve the same problem, but people take different routes to arrive at the same solution as well, right? And then that's where it becomes very difficult to basically get something done. It could be small, it could be big, right? But that's where your main challenge is. Before you can actually get to a state where you can actually make where you can actually start to make sense of your data estate and start building something on top of it, you have to go through a lot of hoops to go there. And that's where we have already talked about. Dr. Jan has already talked about the capability and why it basically is the data platform for the era of AI. And I'm just not going to talk about that again. I'm just going to flash it for a little bit. We have already seen this. I'm going to touch that the SaaSification aspect of the analytics product, that is Microsoft Fabric, right? So you've heard, you would have heard, from many different leaders in Microsoft that the Microsoft's mission is to empower every person in every organization on the planet to achieve more, right? And the AI is the next transformation that the entire industry is actually looking at, right? And this mission of Microsoft becomes even more important. So by embracing the built-in AI, in the tools that you're already using, you can actually accelerate the productivity for all of the roles that you see on the screen. It ranges from the business roles, your business analysts and executives, your data engineers, data scientists, developers, as well as security and IT professionals, right? So you basically empower with a single platform, which is which also gives you the capabilities targeted for all of these personas, right? So that means that when it comes to Fabric and Microsoft ecosystem, AI is everywhere, and this AI is for everyone across every layer of your organization. Whether they are looking at already published reports, Copilot and Power BI basically comes into mind, right? So you've already done your analysis, you've already created your data mart and data models, and you're exposing them to your users as your dashboards, right? And to be able to make sense of that data, you can use AI experience, which is Copilot in Microsoft's ecosystem. But that is not only limited to that. Even your data scientists, your data integration engineers can also make use of it. Even your developers who are working on developing machine learning models, they can also use AI to help them to assist them in creating that next set of models that they're looking to build, right? So it saves time, it improves productivity to a great extent. And these are, I mean, the experience that you would see on Fabric portal. We have, a bunch of demos that is coming up. Dr. Jan and Anil is going to be projecting that. You would see, that the persona optimized experiences add to that value, right? And then, this persona empowered organizations, right? I mean, you can see the benefit, right? And you get increased productivity because people don't really have to jump between multiple different tools. They don't really have to navigate their way through multiple different data sources or things like that. OneLake provides access to the same set of data for everybody that is working on, on that data, from the integration perspective, from the engineering perspective, from the ingestion perspective, and from also the analytics perspective, right? And with OneLake, what you also get is is the capability to not duplicate your data, right? So we support a lot of so there's a concept called shortcut, which basically allows you to access the data wherever it is. It doesn't have to be that you copy the data within OneLake to be able to work with it. That's not really the use case in most of the time, actually. So even when you're using something on, say, on AWS or Google or even Snowflake, right? You would be able to basically connect to that data so that you're not duplicating, because the moment you start duplicating, it starts getting fragmented, right? So that's the capability that you get with OneLake. And with this persona based experience, you also reduce the pain of integration, which makes it easy to connect and use multiple different analytics tools that your team needs. You also minimize the data management time and effort by unifying your data estate into OneLake. to eliminate, multiple data movement tools and pipelines and things like that, and also eliminate duplication. And you empower your team to focus on the high value work with the assistance of the AI, which comes into the picture with, Copilot and Fabric. So the Copilot and Fabric is across all the experiences, right from integration work to engineering to transformation to also, building dashboards. And that means, that you also facilitate better collaboration, between these teams. So your data is not in silos anymore. You can also, design your organization business processes according to the kind of, data access everybody needs. So while OneLake is the underlying, data estate for all of these experiences, you also get security controls over, making sure that only the right people have the access to the set of data that they're supposed to have. Now, jumping ahead, I would like to, touch upon, your existing investments, right? So Azure has had, many different services that you would have come across, and some of these tools are also cross cloud and cross platform, right? So the one that you see is the Microsoft Fabric and Azure Databricks. So one of the really great thing about Fabric is that we have embraced on the open and government lakehouse, right? So all of your data resides in the tables that you see in your lakehouse are in the data lake format. We also use Parquet for all of your data that is stored in OneLake. So which means that any industry tool that has adopted these open data frameworks, they will be able to work with the OneLake as well. OneLake is also built upon the ADLS Gen 2 APIs, so which also is something that Azure Databricks already utilizes, right? So while you might have done some investment in Azure Databricks, your data is going to be lying in ADLS Gen 2, which means that you can actually connect that ADLS Gen 2 storage to your OneLake and expose that same set of data to Fabric experiences, from Data Factory to real-time analytics to any other workloads that we have seen, right? So which means that you're not duplicating data. There's no problem with governance and storage of data, and you can simply start leveraging Microsoft Fabric to do what you cannot do with Databricks, and you don't really have to abandon Databricks right just because you're actually going to go with Fabric. One basic use case is that if you're leveraging Azure Databricks today, what at the very list is you can use Microsoft Fabric is for Power BI dashboards, because Power BI becomes part of the Fabric as well. I'll talk a little bit more about the Power BI licensing as well, as we go down in a couple of minutes. But just wanted to mention, that that is one of the very basic scenarios that you can actually leverage. And then as you become comfortable and you start developing new use cases, you can actually start leveraging the other Fabric items. And like Dr. Jan touched upon, the pricing is based on capacity, and that capacity is shared among all the Microsoft Fabric experiences. So which means that you don't really have to shell out more, just to try out a new experience or try to figure out whether or not this basically works for you. And you also have the capability to upscale and scale down your capabilities as you go forward, right? So purely depend upon your use cases, you basically be able to leverage Fabric capabilities as you deem fit. And this is how kind of your analytics journey would look like when it comes to any of this analytics tool that you're already using, right? So with Fabric, the OneLake becomes your unified data foundation, which is also accessible to Databricks. What you don't see on the slide is Synapse and Synapse, data warehousing and Synapse analytics as well. But this remains true, and it's not only true with Databricks and Synapse. This picture could also be enriched with any third-party solution that is capable of working with ADLS Gen 2, because that's what OneLake actually provides you. So your existing investments will be protected. What you can do is start augmenting with the newer capabilities that you get with Fabric. That not only is about the capabilities, but also with the management and governance capabilities that you get with Fabric. Now, quickly jumping next into the Power BI thing, right? So the only thing, okay, let me step back a little bit, right? So in Power BI, you have the licensing models which are based on the per user pricing, and then we also had something called a capacity based licenses. So what is happening with Microsoft Fabric is that only the P capacities, right? P1 and P2 and so on and so forth, are actually getting merged with Fabric capacities. So if you're already a customer that uses Microsoft capacity-based licenses, your upgrade path is to actually go to Fabric, and depending upon which capacity of Fabric makes sense, you can work with IFI and us to figure that out. In case you're interested, you'll be able to basically make a call about which model actually works. So and the per user based per PPU licenses still work with Fabric, below F64, but beyond F64, that license cost, that licensing model changes a little bit actually, right? So now since you have on F64 and above, you have this capacity based licenses, you don't really have to worry about the user based licenses for the consumers. The authors will require their own license to create content, but none of the consumers in your company or the external users will need their licenses to work with Power BI content. Going forward, I would like to just flash those use cases that we have collated from a lot of customers. Just wanted to keep this on for a second here before I start jumping into the next set of slides that I have. So we have Coca-Cola, Hitachi, and Munich RE as well as KPMG that have already adopted Fabric. And if you're on Synapse, you're looking to modernize or trying to build something on top of your existing data estate powered by GenAI, I think you should start looking at Fabric. Although Synapse is going to be there for a long time, it's not going away. We are not retiring it anytime soon. But if you're looking to for a transformation which is based on Synapse, Fabric is its logical step. Now I'll just walk you through a couple of one use case which is an industry agnostic demand and forecasting use case, and how you can actually utilize Azure OpenAI services and Microsoft Fabric to basically unify your data estate as well as empower and build new experiences enriched by OpenAI capabilities, right? So on the top right corner, you basically see a classical ML scenario where there's a model which is built using classic ML technologies, which does demand forecasting, manufacturing industry, of course. And then you can also use geospatial services like Azure Maps or any third-party services to basically figure out that where should my inventory go in terms of the supply chain and deployments, right? Now it would be nice to have a GenAI experience, powered experience, so that people can actually come and ask a question and get the answer, right? And that's where you have to start considering the complexities that come in because of these experiences, right? So on the left hand side, now you see that when it comes to the backend architecture, you have too many things that are coming, right? So you would have unstructured data which is stored in your S3 buckets. You'll have structured data stored in proprietary data warehouse. It could be Synapse, it could be something else. You would also want to capture data coming in from stores, which is your real-time data that is coming in. It could also be batch data, that you could ingest, probably a day or multiple times a day. And then you would probably also have your product inventory that is stored in Cosmos DB, and you probably also dump a little bit of that into your data lake storage, for analytics purposes. And then you can add generative AI. Like I said, it would be nice to have a classical ML service augmented by GenAI experience, so that we can ask question. So you can actually bring in Azure AI, OpenAI. You can put that query to OpenAI. You can get the data from your classic ML learning model, and then you can probably do the GenAI magic and explain that output that is coming from your classical ML learning, classical ML learning model to explain what that data basically means, right? But then when you bring in a unified data estate, what happens is that on the left hand side, you can actually mount say proprietary data warehouse. The slide says coming soon, but we already have that integration already there, right? So you can actually mount that external data warehouse to OneLake, as a shortcut or via mirroring. You can also connect your AWS S3 data where your unstructured data is stored as a shortcut, which means you don't have to move your data from AWS to OneLake to be able to achieve this scenario, right? Data Factory is already built into Fabric, and then you can also connect your existing data which is already stored in ADLS, right? So even within Azure, you don't really have to duplicate your data just to be able to work with Fabric. You can connect that as a shortcut, and all of that data becomes virtualized in OneLake, and then you can start building, your ML models in Fabric. You can retrain data with the, the new data that is coming in, depending upon what kind of model you want to build. You can also, query the inventory data which is stored in your lakehouse and data warehouse, and you can also truly implement the RAG-powered GenAI solution, right? So it is not only getting the analysis that is coming from your machine learning model, it can also go back and query the data from the one lake to augment the insight, right? So RAG is basically retrieval augmented GenAI, generative AI, right? So you not only use the classical ML output coming in from your classical model, but you can also connect it, ground it in your own data to give insights to users to basically make very informed decisions about what would happen. So in this case, people can ask that what are the biggest factors impacting my forecast next month, which can be supplied with your which can be augmented not only with the insight that is coming in from your classical classic machine learning model, but you can also go back and query what are the factors that might be playing a role in planning the inventory and dispatches and everything for your next month's demand that you should be anticipating, right? So that way this pretty simple scenario becomes even much more powerful, which is grounded in your own data coming in from multiple different data sources, and at the same time is basically also giving you that much more enriched data that you can that you basically have come to expect from GenAI based solutions, right? And so with that, I'm at the end of my slides. I would like to hand it over back to Dr. Jen to walk you through the demos.
Thanks, Ashish. So I'll be sharing my screen in a moment. Just give me a moment. Okay. So I hope my screen is up and okay. So what before we proceed to demo? Okay, I said that we'll primarily talk about Copilot experiences across data warehouse and Power BI. Not talk about, we'll do some live demo on data warehouse and Power BI Copilot experiences. I also mentioned that in data warehouse, instead of showing Copilot experience from the data warehouse workload, we will show it in terms of AI skill that is inbuilt or easily buildable within the fabric, and then we will do some demos with Power BI Copilot. Before we move to live demos and I invite Anil to share his screen, I'd like all of us to see this a small video on Copilots on Fabric. It just gives a glimpse of what Copilot is already capable of, even while it is evolving at a pace of developments in generative AI space. This already gives us a very good starting point. So just a small video for everyone to get a glimpse of what Copilot is capable of doing. So I think I would probably have to change my screen sharing settings for a moment. Sorry. I will share it with audio. So share, include sound, Windows. Okay.
Next generation AI in Microsoft Fabric empowers you to unlock the full potential of your data. With Copilot integrated into every data experience, Microsoft Fabric lets you use natural language to bring your data to life. From integrating data to writing code to finding insights and creating reports, new transformative AI experiences work alongside you every step of the way, so you can stay focused on getting value from your data. Copilot helps turn your words into data flows and data pipelines, so you can intelligently integrate data from anywhere. When writing code, Copilot automatically suggests code and entire functions in real time, and Copilot can guide you to create machine learning models to unlock insights in your data. Just by chatting with Copilot, you can visually explore your data to create stunning reports, discover insights, and summarize your data into easy-to-understand text narratives for sharing. With Copilot, you can turn insight into action with triggers that monitor your data and notify users. You can even create your own custom natural language experiences that combine Azure OpenAI models and your organization's data, and easily publish your creations as plugins. And with your data in Fabric, Copilot provides insights and answers everywhere work gets done. Most importantly, Microsoft Cloud runs on trust, which means your data always remains your data. Bring your data into the era of AI with Microsoft Fabric.
So thank you for hearing us out on this. We'll take a short 2-minute break before we start the live demos of Copilots in Fabric. So everyone stay tuned. Be back in 2 minutes.
So while Dr. Jan and Anil start the demo, I just wanted to, refrain and say again, if you have any questions related to what has been discussed so far, or if there is anything during the demo which you want to ask, please feel free to put it on the chat. The Q&A chat is open from the starting of the session. So you should be able to pop your questions in there, and we'll make sure to answer those right away. Thank you.
Hi everyone, we'll wait a minute or two so that people who are on break are back. So, but meanwhile, I'll speak a little about Europe. Just about the data that we are doing this demo on and the intent of doing these live demos. Okay, so typically, if you would see data once prepared, transformed, cleaned, and prepared for end consumption, still leaves some insights that are not prepared for or planned for. Okay, so the end user, in many cases, say senior management or people who don't really use querying or even don't make Power BI reports for that matter, they just want to get some additional insights. For that, they have to get back to the team, ask them to create what is required. And in that process, that insight gets either lost or it loses its timely value. Okay, that's a problem that gets very easily solved with what we trying to show here in these demos. So what we have with us, I hope everybody is joined back now. So I'm continuing in that gist now. So what you see on the screen is AI skill that we will use to query data from a simple HR database using natural language. So this data from its raw form was ingested in first was ingested in Fabric, then it was cleaned, processed, and transformed into a tabular database form. And now, before I move forward, a brief introduction to Anil. Anil is our technical practice lead on Fabric. He is DP600 certified, DP700 appearing. So all and all Fabric guy at the moment. And he has done all these demos time and again. But there still remains one concern that might come up moving forward in this demo also, and that I would like to bring to everybody's attention right at the beginning. See, all these Copilot experiences are built on generative AI, right? Generative AI by nature is a stochastic process where the action or the generated words are based on a probabilistic stochastic process and may not always produce the exact same results. In other words, the repeatability could be repeatability is something that could only come with significant training. But again, that is not the problem we are trying to solve, right? What we are trying to solve is provide people, provide senior people, or provide management with tools where they can very easily, conveniently get the answers using this AI facility inbuilt. So to let's start with some. Please feel free to put your questions in the Q&A. But let's start with the simple prompt. Okay, so on this scale, this is HR data as I mentioned. Suppose I just wanted to know what is the average age of employees in the company. So Anil, can you please ask this chatbot to get the um, uh, average age of the employees in the company and show
Sure.
us, yeah, and also show us what the how the query is generated, how the output gets derived.
Definitely. Let me put the prompt here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here.
So what Anil has given as prompt is what is the average age of employees in the country, in the company, sorry. Please run this. So initial queries, it might take a couple of seconds. Typically, it takes around 10 seconds or so in generating the response. Okay. But what it will give us is not only the average that it finds based on the data. Okay. As you can see on the left, this table column has different columns, this data. What it will generate not only the averages, it gives us average of employees in the company. And Anil, can you please show the query? Yeah, and it also generates the SQL query for that. Now, suppose I am a user who does not know or who knows, but even if I'm a pro with SQL query, okay, there is good likelihood that it would take me 2 to 5 minutes to arrive at this query. Okay. And if I'm not a, pro, then the resistance is to starting. Okay, like यार कौन लिखेगा? In other words, who will start writing the query? That becomes a challenge, which gets resolved very easily. So the Copilot, justifies the name that it helps you pilot through terrains that you might or might not be comfortable with. Now, this was a very simple query. Some would say that, okay, I could have done this in Excel very easily. It's something that comes as a question a lot of times. But see, your data is not in Excel. First thing, your data typically stored in databases is in queryable using SQL, or it is not. You're not going to copy from here, take it to Excel, put an average function. It doesn't happen like that. You need the answers based on the data to which you have the access. We could have done the same thing using data engineering or data warehouse Copilot experiences also. But typically, it's better to do it using AI skills for two simple reasons. One is data uh, security issues, I would say. Suppose I have the access to data. I, not being a pro SQL person, I don't want to give my production level database, don't want to do anything with my production level database. So whatever querying I do here, whatever responses I generate here, they don't get reflected into my original database. So I'm safer here. This is one reason. The second reason is again on those lines only. See, if I'm working with the production level warehouse, I would, even if I'm very comfortable, I would not be, very sure of doing certain things that I'm not sure what could the output be. So it's better to use AI skill in this way. I'm sure that what I'm getting or what I'm getting is not affected my original data in any form. Okay, now this was a simple query as I was mentioning. Let's take something little more complex. Okay, so can you, Anil, run a query on employees with more than 5 absences in a year? And if possible, also show the performance uh, scores of employees in the sales department. Can you do it in a one query, or would you be doing that in two separate queries?
Yeah, Dr. Jen, let me put in a one query. So let's record
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have kind of asked to not so well connected queries. Okay, I had this question that okay, who all are the employees who have more than 5 absences in 1 year, and then I want to know about the performance scores of employees in the sales department, right? Um, let's see. So first thing that we noted is that there is this query ran in 22 seconds. Okay. Next thing we see is that both the queries have both the answers have been generated in one the natural language prompt itself. Okay, which are more or less hardly connected in detail. And two, even and three, even though my output is not a number, okay, because the performance scores are not quantifiable, they are textual, right? So performance improvement program fully meets, etc., etc. But the response has been generated, and in what 22 seconds, and what I get, maybe the response is not to my liking. Okay, so Anil, can you please do those two queries? Please show those queries. Okay. Yeah. No, just can you scroll down and show 2 steps completed? Yeah. See, the query is generated for the first part as well as for the next part. So it has answered in steps also. I'm not saying that this is very encouraging thing to do, but this is something that, see, the tool is already capable of. It understood the question that these are two separate questions, generated two separate queries, and responded accordingly. Just we'll take maybe another example from this AI skill. So suppose, let's say, I don't just want to get some data based on querying, but also I want to analyze to some extent. So let's say I want employees, I want to identify the employees with significant performance improvements over the year, and also analyze the factors contributing to their success. So I'll just again give this thought into a natural language form and put that as a prompt and see what response I get. Anil, can you please run that query?
Yeah, so Dr.
Yeah. So the prompt given is identify employees with significant performance improvements over the year and analyze the factors contributing to their success. Okay, so let's see what we get. Now look at all of this from a point of view of a person who has access to the data, but did not know how to query that data. Okay, this becomes a cakewalk. The analysis is there. Okay, the person is there. The uh, details of that data is there. Contributing to success is there, and then the query itself is shown. If it is not to your liking, so be it. Anil, can you please show the steps completed? Yeah. Scroll it down, please. Okay. So based on the query, please bring it down entirely. This query was generated. Okay. Now my point being that, see, even if the way I would like to put it is, see, it efficiently helps you to do things even if you are a pro user. If you are a non-user, then though it provides the means and tools to you to do things which otherwise would have been very tricky. Okay, and we can keep generating these SQL queries as much as we want. But now, keeping the interest of time in the mind, we'd like to move to Copilot in Power BI. Okay. So Copilot in Power BI, I very honestly, personally, I consider it a blessing in disguise because Anil, can you please move to Copilot in Power BI experience?
Sure.
Yeah, because see, typically a Power BI report for I would say seasoned Power BI developer, initial setting up of a Power BI report or a visual would, if not more, at least take 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, I am to place it here. Let's use these colors, this data chart, this data type. It typically takes that time. Okay, but when we are using Copilot, as we will see now in moving prompts, okay, not only it provides me good usable reports and visualizations, but it also helps expedite a process. Suppose I'm a CHRO. This is HR data. Suppose I'm a CHRO. I have been briefed that okay, this data is this and this and this, and I have seen the data, but I did not decide onto a particular KPI at the beginning, and I want to know that, or I did not have a dashboard, but I have the access to data. So what I do, we'll start with some simple prompts and let's see how it helps us. I just want to understand uh, that let's say distribution of employees by gender and marital status. Okay. This is a simple prompt. I want to understand that. So what I'm asking Copilot to do now is create a report showing the distribution of employees by gender and marital status. Anil, please run the query. See, it's the total count is there. Okay, it gives me distribution by gender, and then it gives me distribution by marital status. All the categories are included, right? Now this maybe a year ago or so would have been a challenge that would require, if not more, I'm telling you, minimum 10 minutes to set it up. Okay. It's a very simple prompt, but very efficiently done. Okay. Suppose I want a little more insights again. So now this time I want to visualize the number of employees in each department along with their average salary. Okay, so I give it the prompt that okay, visualize the number of employees in each department along with their average salary, and let's see how it comes and how much time it takes. Okay, so maybe roughly 15-20 seconds. Sometimes it could take slightly more also, that is possible. It is building it. Here it is. The total average salary is 69K. In production, this is higher. In executive office, this is by department. This is by number of employees by department and average salary. So this is highest in executive office, lowest in production, where the number of employees are higher. Now, suppose I've generated this report. Suppose somebody has shared the report already with me. Can I generate a summary? Can I summarize this report? Okay, I don't want to keep looking for it. So I just simply say, okay, summarize this report and let's see what we get. Typically, what would have so there is intentionally a mistake in the prompt. Instead of writing summarize this report, we have written summarized this report. Okay, that extra D, if you notice. Being the LLM based feature, it should be able to understand what my requirement is. Okay, and should respond accordingly. So now see, in what last 3 to 4 minutes at most, we have already generated 2 reports, right? We are working on summary of a report, and we'll then move. This could look like simple visual, simple reports. As you can see, the summary is generated. I don't even have to articulate. Okay, and this summary is fact based. Everything is written there. Total employees are 311, average salary is this, there are so many employees in production and so on and so forth. The insights are the production department employees, the highest, largest by far. So earlier we were required to do these things, or we were doing these things, we have been doing these things, but they were typically time consuming process. There is a chance that some of these things might be erroneous. Some people will observe that maybe there is some error here and there, and I won't say that this is 100% error free. This is, even though it is data and fact based, it uses generative AI. Okay, there is some chances that it might be not 100% accurate. Okay, but even in those scenarios, it is absolutely a bliss. Okay, saves a lot of time, does things efficiently. Just to show off a little more. In fact, instead of saying showcase, I will like to take some little more complex prompts. So now I want a comprehensive employee overview report. Okay, I am saying I don't just need these simple prompts. I need a comprehensive employee overview report where a detailed report showing employee demographics, performance, and satisfaction is shown, includes the visuals for gender, marital status, department, etc. I also want slicers for department, employment status, and performance score, etc. I also would like to see a table with employee names and so on and so forth. So Anil, can you please bring up that prompt and show us how this even a complex prompt. So what prompt reads here is that create a detailed report showing employee demographics, performance and satisfaction, include visuals from gender distribution, marital status and department. Also add slicers for department, employment status, and performance score. Include a table with employee name, IDs, and positions and salaries. Okay. Now this is fairly complex prompt, I would say. Okay. Uh, if I were to build this dashboard from build this report from scratch, this would usually take me good amount of time with all the access in place, everything in place. Okay, and by that time, maybe that information is something that I'm not way more interested in. But as you can see, I think it hardly took 30 seconds or so. Okay. Uh, a base report is set. The slicers are for department, employment status, etc. Um, uh, Required details have been given in different forms. Okay. Uh, well, what more one could ask for to start with? Okay. Now suppose I am just, uh, you know, I've run these queries, but I'm not sure what I want. Okay. I'm just playing around. Maybe there are these KPIs that does not come to my mind. Okay. I'm just a simple person who is a decision maker, but does not really care about what KPIs are needed. I might have overlooked into some insights that I might not have thought about, but can be obtained from my data. Now, because this is HR data, so let's try and create a CHRO dashboard, okay, and see what comes up. Okay, so Anil, can you just create a prompt and yeah, create me a CHRO dashboard? Okay, let's go with that one. So again, we have not specified anything, okay, but we have given enough context to this Copilot to understand that, see, this is HR data. We have been generating some visuals or reports around that data. We've given 4-5 prompts, which it would take as context, okay, and then it will try to generate a CHRO dashboard for us. Okay, so let's see. Uh, so um, Well, here you go. Just on a click of a button using natural language, you can generate a report that gives marital status distribution, gender distribution, employees by department, average satisfaction by department, and average salary by department, and so on and so forth. Okay. uh, you can keep adding, you can the as far the kind of prompt you give, if data is there to satisfy that requirement of that prompt, it will generate the report. Also, it can generate generative AI summaries for any of the visuals on any of the reports. Anil, can you show us how for one of the visuals, if it's possible?
Yes, sure. Yeah.
Okay. So it's creating a narrative, typically something that all consultants have to write in the reports. Okay, so they can still write, but they can only just proofread, is what I would say. Again, very efficient way of reporting is how I would like to put it. I am, as the saying goes, I am reasonably impressed with the capabilities of the features that are enabled with Microsoft Fabric. Okay, and well, uh, I can't really, the potential that these tools have, the efficiency that these tools and features can bring into practice, particularly analytics practice, are immense. And I would personally recommend everyone to uh, have a go. So I think that's all from our side. Thank you everyone for the time and everything. Over to you, Abhinav. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Anil.
Thanks, Dr. Jain and Anil, for this great demo. And now I believe I'll open the floor to any questions which we may have. So please feel free to ask. We've got our speakers still on the line with us. In case if there's still anything afterwards which you'd like to ask, or maybe discuss one-to-one, we can always schedule a session with you here at IFI and involve the right people to talk about it. But yeah, if there is still any questions, please put it on the chat. We'll be here till the end of this event. And also, I just again wanted to thank our speakers, starting off with Ashish for joining us from Microsoft India and giving us the insights into Fabric. And again, thanks Dr. Jain for all the insights and the demo. And thanks Anil also for your valuable time and putting this demo together. So yeah, with that being said, again, if you have anything you'd like to know about, ask, you can always reach us at the given address. I'll put this in the chat window as well. So please feel free to reach out any of the requirements surrounding Fabric or Copilot or anything associated with your needs, business needs. We can always be able to cater to that. So yeah, I'll just take a pause there. And if there's anything you'd like to ask, please feel free to put it in the chat window. If there's no further questions at the moment, we can definitely close the session. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you guys. And if there's still anything, please feel free to write us. I've put the mail IDs in the chat window, so you can always drop an email and reach out to us. Once again, thank you for your attendance. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.
Thanks everyone. Bye bye.
You.
Thank you.
Bye.
Sure. Thanks. Bye.